After more than a year of negotiations, the WNBA will have its first million-dollar players. This comes after the league and players' union reached a deal in principle earlier today. The new collective agreement still needs to be ratified by the players and approved. For more on what this deal means, we're joined by Savannah Hamilton. She's a Toronto-based sports reporter. Savannah, thanks for being here. This deal has been called historic. How historic is it?
Well, it's multi-million-dollar historic. It's actually phenomenal for the growth of not just women's basketball, but women's sports in general, especially in North America, when the best alternative for a lot of female athletes in the past has been going overseas to Europe. And now they could stay home if they're born and raised in, either Canada or America and get to the chance to play in front of their own families and friends and hometown teams.
You know some of the players personally. Can you just clarify for us, first of all, what was the base salary before? What is it being proposed now? And what difference does that make?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to look at especially like the Supermax before, the Supermax, like the most amount of money that a player could make before in the WNBA was just under $250,000. And now it's upwards of $1.4 million. This is a lot more enticing. And it also creates an avenue for players to prioritize now the WNBA. Before, players had to, and I mean financially had to, go overseas or find other off-season options to suffice income, basically. And that's that's like the Asia Wilsons and the superstars. The average player before on a minimum contract, was making about $66,000, and now that's up to $300,000. And the average medium now between everything is $600,000. So that's enough money, I think, for the average player to make a living and not have to worry about other alternative financial means.
I think you would probably have surprised a lot of people when they hear that the average salary was $66,000 only for professional athletes, and now it's almost 5 times that. So this comes after more than a year that the players actually opted out of their collective agreement. Are you surprised they were able to reach a deal and for this much?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I would say this, it doesn't come as a surprise because there's so much money being put into women's sports right now, specifically the WNBA. The big number out there right now is the fact that the WNBA signed an 11-year, $2.2 billion media rights agreement. And so everyone's wondering, where is that money going to? And that's just one deal. There's many, many other deals that come into the WNBA, just the same way that it comes into any league, an NBA, NHL, doesn't matter. And so basically, the WNBA players were asking for their piece of the pie, and it has been previously reported that their piece of the pie was only around 9%. And so they just got their piece of the pie up to 20%, so basically double. Still not quite what they were asking for at 26%, but this is still phenomenal for the fact that, the league is also taking a chance on the players believing in their own product, that they could generate even more revenue throughout time, that could make more money and see more increased salaries because they have a percentage, not like a hard salary limit per se. It's going to they're going to see it reflected back.
Do you think this could have an impact on other leagues, Professional Women's Hockey League, Northern Super League here in Canada? Where does this go?
Absolutely. I think the WNBA, because they're one of the most progressive leagues in the world, I believe that this kind of sets the tone. This is not just, just for women's basketball. This is for women's sports, because now other leagues are going to be looking at the WNBA as a financial model. Hey, what can we do? What are women worth? How much can we bet on this product? Taking the emotions out of it. How much on a logistical front can we invest realistically for it to not just be sustainable, but for it to grow? And so this is actually a great baseline, and this CBA is actually more reflective of not a sustainability financial model, but a growth financial model. And so I think that's the most exciting part, because it's going to set the standard for all the leagues across North America, in my opinion, for women's sports.
Savannah Hamilton, we appreciate your time and your insights. Savannah Hamilton, Toronto-based sports reporter. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.